Welcome back to Black Plague Precision and the MTAP tutorial series. Today we're going to be going over the initial operations and setups. Starting with some of the key components, let's go ahead and swivel this around. Here we have our power entry where our plug goes, and we have our power on and off switch. When turning the system on, it should be as easy as turning the switch on and turning the switch off. But if you're having issues with the motor running at full capacity, there is always the starter boost button at the top. Make sure you follow the manual and read the instructions on top so it'll help walk you through the protocol for using the starter boost button. Now, this shouldn't be an issue unless you are reloading in a room and the temperature is below 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Turning the system back to the face, depending on how you orient the system will determine where your chips end up. This is the front chip catcher, and if we turn it around, here we have the rear chip catcher. Now this system can be set up like this on its base, or it can be put upright, and in that instance, this is where the rear chip catcher will catch those chips. Keep in mind that you do not have to have either of these on for this system to function correctly. Next, we have the bullet insert guide. This is where your bullet will insert into the system and help guide it to the actual cutting mechanism. Turning it to the side, this is the indicator, and this is our custom F-Class Products indicator bracket. This is specifically designed to help with the measurement of these cuts, and it's important to understand that you need to use this system and not use any other measuring system for this process. Lastly, we have the bullet holder. The bullet holder holds our bullet within our collet, and this is our bullet collet nut. This will tighten down on the collet so we have the right amount of pressure so the bullet does not rotate, but it's not so tight that we can't pull it in and out easily. Now, today we're going to be focusing on the easy button. There's no need to complicate this system any more than it already is. You have to remember that every MTAP is pre-calibrated and tested in-house. Every system ships with a trimmed reference bullet in the box, and this can be used for verification and setup. Just a reference, before you run any good bullets through this, run a couple junk ones through it. The MTAP works a little bit differently than most tools, and you need to get used to the feel of the cutting and the engagement on this system. Last thing before we get started, even though this comes pre-set up for your caliber, make sure that you're confirming the setups that it came with and you're learning how to operate it. Get used to the machine's feel, match your results with the reference bullet, and build confidence before fine-tuning anything on this system. The first thing we want to do is take a look at our reference guide bullet. Now, just a note here, this system is designed by F-Class Products. So innately in their name, they are F-Class shooters. And a lot of F-Class shooters prefer burger bullets. So a lot of this is optimized for burger bullets. That doesn't mean you can't use others. But for this tutorial, we will be using burger bullets. And that is what was sent as a reference guide. So these are 6.5 millimeter 140 grain hybrid targets. Let's go ahead and measure our reference bullet. We're going to turn on our indicator and we are going to lift this up nice and gentle. Be gentle with this system. And we can see we're reading at 0.5855. I like to give this a little turn, make sure that I'm locked in correctly, and that looks good, 0.5855. That's a measurement from our base to our trimmed point, which sits inside of the little hole inside of the indicator holder. So once we have this measurement, we're gonna go ahead and zero it. We're gonna take this out. And I like to put it here on the side, just so I don't lose it. We can see that our measurement now is a negative, but the same amount, so we know that they were zeroed correctly. For this system, you do not need to touch anything on it. Like I said, it comes from the factory Now, if for some reason it got miscalibrated or the calibration came off, then we'll do that. But this should be very, very close to what this reference guide bullet is. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to take a bullet, we're going to put it all the way in. We're going to make sure that it taps the bottom and datums down. You should be able to hear it. Now, when I'm holding this, I've done this a couple of different ways. There's no real grip on the sides of this. So I found that the best way to hold this for consistency is to place it in your palm like this and then hold it on its sides. So it's going to look like this. Now you can hold it however you want. What you don't want to do is tighten and untighten this collar nut. So I don't hold it from here. I like to hold it from this point here to make sure this stays the same. And I'm going to hold it like this and push in. Additionally, on the back end, I'm going to go ahead and hold the back end, or you can hold this. And I'm going to push in, giving equal pressure on both sides. Now, you don't have to jam this in. You don't have to push it in super hard. It will cut, it will trim, it'll be pretty good. So don't worry about that too much. Let's go ahead and turn it on. So you might have saw, I like to give it a little bit of a twist back and forth. That is referenced in the reference guide, and it's in many of the videos put out by F-Class Products. So I've adopted that method as well. Let's take a look and see where we ended up on this. So you can see we're still a bit long here, 2/1000ths of an inch. Now, this does happen, and this is why I measure every single time, because ultimately what you're looking at is you're looking at the gap between the face and the collet, and that isn't exactly the most accurate way to do this. So I make sure I measure every one. This is a little bit long, so we're going to go ahead. We're going to throw it back in. Now, when you get in the rhythm of this, I find that I can power through these, but this is sort of what we mean by the testing, right? You have to get a feel for how long, what it looks like to be in there, and eventually you'll get into a rhythm, and they'll start to come out more and more consistent. So let's go ahead and turn this on. And we can see we're at 1/1000ths now, so we're pretty close. I'm gonna go a little bit longer, a little bit deeper, put a little more pressure on this. So with a bit of an adjustment, you can see we're sitting at 0.000, so exactly on. I know that everybody's going to want to be at 0.000 every single time, but the facts are that you do not need to be there. So long that you are within 5/1000ths of measurement between your bullets, F-Class Products testing showed that this made no significant change at 1,000 yards of shooting. And remember, these are guys testing this on the world team. So this isn't just some random testing that's happening. This is a tested group doing thousands of rounds, working through this. So yes, it's great to be there, but you can have a little bit of fluctuation in this. Let's go ahead and run one more just so we can see. Take it off. Be very gentle with that. We're going to put this aside. Put one more in so we hit it, hear it, touched. Turn it on. So we can see we're still a bit long here. Let's go ahead and take that off. Again, a little long, almost there. Now we're within our window of 5/1000ths at 1/1000ths, but I typically try to go a little bit lower. So I'm going to try it one more time. And there you go. 000. So again, you don't need it to be that precise, but if you're the type of person that wants it to be that precise, you can. Typically, it's going to take you a little bit more work getting used to the placement, the positioning, things like that. Or If you want to make it simple on yourself, add the auto tap to the system, which we're going to be doing a later video on. But hopefully this easy button setup helps you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.